Alrighty, let's take a look at where the old air compressor used to go. So there's the Alright, I'm switching to the deployed cube. It's a little easier to get around in it there, and I'm not too worried about hurting it like I am the new camera. So, I cut a little bit of this wire casing off and can clearly see color now. All this sun bleach stuff is hard to tell what it is. So that's black, and I checked it, and that is ground. I got red positive, and I got blue, which operates the relay. This has power with the ignition off, so I would think that this maybe activates the relay with the ignition on. Also, I think these are little signal wires. There's a light up under the dash that tells me when the compressor is running. I assume that's what those are. Either way, they're kind of real shitty connections. So I'm going to unbolt these bolts. And since these are both going to ground, I may even just take this off so I can install it. Yeah, actually that's what I'm doing. I'm taking this off. I'm going to put it up in there where the other compressor is going to go, where I have the other fittings and where I'm going to attach this. So I'll take this off. Oh yeah, see, just crummy connections there. And this is ground. I need to remember that. Let's see, the white ground. Which, who knows what somebody else did. This is another piece of extension cord. Another tweaker job. I'm finding pieces of extension cord all over this thing. It's kind of annoying. It's not as thick as the wire bringing power to it. It's probably fine. Obviously it doesn't look burnt or anything, so whatever. But I think I still might replace that just because it's just shitty work. So yeah, and you see someone just kind of wrap the wire around the inside of this ring connector and just kind of half-assed it. So I'm going to get some actual proper connections on there, and just for peace of mind. And this does have power, so I need to watch that. This will arc out on ground. That should actually come off. I should disconnect power is what I should do, but I'll be careful. So I will need a new relay before, or a solenoid before I hook this up. These are not the same size fittings, so I will have to go get an adapter to put onto this so it can fit into a hole like that size. Alright, picked up a new solenoid. It's about 12 bucks. And I also got a couple fittings to make this switch attached to the connections out at the tank, which I believe is 1/8 inch FIP to 1/4 inch MIP. And then we went and got a package of mails for like a couple bucks at Home Depot. Alright, it's back at a Walmart. Let's get back to fixing this thing. loving the concrete. Or asphalt, I guess I should say. It's so nice and clean to work on. Okay, so I came out here with a 9-volt battery and found out these two turn the light on inside, so all I need to do is ground one side and connect the other side to the compressor, so I have a little indicator light when it is operating. And then we're also going to cut out this shoddy piece of extension cord and put on a decent 10 gauge, I think that is. Yep. Splice on another piece of 10 gauge. And then I'm also going to connect this to the pressure switch. And then the pressure switch will be connected to the solenoid. That way the pressure switch is operating a solenoid instead of a heavy load like the air compressor. Cleaning up the top of this just because these solenoids get their ground from the contact on the base. I just want that to have good contact as much as possible. Alright, so I assume this was somehow plumbed in up in here at one point, since this was grounded out right there and just kind of looks like this is the area it came from, but I'm going to put it up in here because that's where I got the T's at and where I'm going to pull a pressure gauge from and put this in instead. I won't need the pressure gauge because the air compressor itself has one built on, so hopefully that'll be good enough. So this right here would activate the solenoid with the ignition on. Instead, I'm going to connect this in between it. That way it won't turn on unless there's not enough, unless it needs more pressure. But I don't think I'm going to try and put that out here because I'll have to go get a T from in there and put the T here and then put this on and then put this back on. I'd rather not mess with this because it doesn't leak, and I've been dealing with leaks with this in the past and would rather it not. So I'm just going to attach this up in here and extend the wires to come and attach here. And it kind of looks like maybe this is where the ground may have gone. I think it's a good idea to have it here anyway. I'll connect the pump here and also kind of ground everything out again. Everything usually is grounded all the way from the frame up to the motor, but you never know. You just can't really depend on that. Who knows if the rust between bolts Not moving. So these two wires will go up to the pressure switch, and we just need another wire on ground and another wire on the output side of the solenoid to run the air compressor. Won't need the gauge anymore because the compressor has one, so I'll just take this off, and then I got a 90 facing out this direction. Maybe I'll just put I'll either put the pressure switch here, which will be kind of in the way, poking out like that. Maybe I can actually angle that way somehow or something. And then we'll take this off and put the Schrader valve back on that came from here in the first place. And then we can screw on the new compressor. Cheap bag or not, I like this little kit. I'll try and keep it as whole as possible if I ever want to. I haven't really figured out where I want to put it yet. I guess I'll just leave it sitting just like on the floor like that. Maybe I'll zip tie the handle up to this thing or something so it doesn't tip over. Do something like that. Back in the back, so we can always reconnect these and put that back the way it was. That's a sweet little setup, this compressor. I like it. Let's keep that all together. Run this through something like so. save this for another project. Alright, here we got the old Schrader valve that used to go right there. I'm just gonna put that back. Some thread tape first here. There we go. Oops. All sorts of freaking leaks now. Got some split wire loom, or wire casing, whatever it's called. Just to protect stuff a little bit and I'll try and shove a little bit in this hole so I can keep the wires from scratching on that. Where to put you? Where to put you again? Try and tape these together a little bit first. I forgot what we have for length. So I don't think it matters, but just in case, I want to hook these up the way it was, positive. Looks like the positive wire is marked on this one. It's got these ridges. Okay, so positive is marked. It's got those ridges. There you go, everything all cinched up. Tape some wires out of the way so they're not rubbing on the ground. Should be good under here. Alright, so instead of just coupling these wires together, I'm going to put these little connectors on so they can be removed at a later date. Or if I need to take the sensor off for any reason. I put the female ends, or the shielded ends, on this side so that they cannot arc out on the ground anywhere, because these are pretty much inert unless one side was left attached, but that shouldn't be a problem. Alright, almost done. Something like that, I suppose. I guess we're pretty much, there we go, almost done. Let's try her out. Alright, I'm going to go turn the key on. I checked it and it looks like this pump's going to come on whenever the ignition's on and not when the engine is running, which is what I was hoping it would do. So I'll just have to be careful with letting this run. So anyway, let's flip on the ignition. Oh. at 120 psi or whatever that says. I was afraid that it kept going. I was afraid there for a second that this was bad and it was stuck and it wasn't going to show off, but it just clicked off a little bit ago, and yeah, we're in business. I also added a zip tie here just to keep it from tipping over, just so it somewhat stays put. I'll figure out something maybe a little better at a later date. There it is, all good to go. Do a real quick check with some soapy water. Looks like we are good. Heck yeah, that was a good project right there. Turned out real nice. So it takes a little bit longer to fill up the tank than I was hoping, but I'll bet you I could get more flow if I took this. That was, as I was saying before the camera cut me off, because the battery on this thing is so short, I could probably get a little more flow out of that compressor if I took the stem out of that Schrader valve, but I think it'll be just fine. So just flip it on and see if we get the compressor to kick on while messing with the switches. Nothing seems to be working. Alright, so I miswired this thinking that the 3 wires here, that 2 of them only mattered for lighting the operation light up there to let me know when the compressor's running. For some reason, I don't know, I was just thinking that there's no way that they would send a ground all the way back 35 feet for that little controller to get power. I think they would take it right from under the dash there, but apparently the wire runs all the way back here for it to get power. The black is not ground, the black is actually positive. So I spliced it right here using a little splice and a bus connector. And then I just took this off from over here and put it to ground where it's supposed to go. And then this is the indicator light. The indicator light going over to the compressor, where the compressor is connected. So when that has power, the light has power. Got the proper wire grounded that should have been, and the positive wire so that the controls have functionality. So in order to figure out that wiring, I left it into a position I knew would make some noise back there. When it's on automatic, it's trying to bring its back end down, and I can hear a hiss when it starts letting out air. So when I started hooking up wires and I finally heard the hiss, I was able to figure out which wire was what. It may even kick on right now for letting out that air. Nope. Got it. Yeah, I can hear it clicking back there. Just trying to get the compressor to kick on. Not doing it. I probably have to let out a good bit of air. It's not going to kick on as soon as it drops just a little bit. It's probably going to let it drop a good amount. And it's raising it. I can, oh, there it goes. Cool. Now I can mess with my suspension on the road, because one of my shocks still leaks a little bit of air. Or leave it on automatic and let it do what it's supposed to do. But for some reason, when it's on automatic, it just tries to dump all the air out, and I don't really like that because the suspension is really sloppy. I like it stiff. I can barely even hear that compressor back there too. Alright, looks like we're back in business for the air suspension. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.